accessible. We're going to begin by tearing the ribbon you're wearing as a sign of mourning, and it's one of what is the oldest symbol of Judaism. And it reminds us how our heart is torn. And if you would repeat after me the blessing, Baruch Atah Adonai Dayan Ha'emet. Blessed are you, eternal God, judge of truth. So you can either tear it or we'll help you tear it.
Be seated for services. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. At this time, we would kindly ask if everyone would please turn off or silence all electronic devices. Thank you. I have learned that in times of separation and loss and sorrow, the Psalms can bring much comfort and solace. And in this spirit, I now recite from the 23rd Psalm, this great Psalm of faith. And we learn that even when we feel alone or lonely, we are never truly alone, for God is with us, and we know that God is with Rowland. If you're familiar with these verses, please join me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I continue with a modern-day poem, which we read at our synagogue from time to time, and I would like to personalize it for Rowland. Rowland. At the rising of the sun and at its going down, we will remember Rowland. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we will remember him. At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we will remember him. At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, we will remember him. At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we will remember Ba. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember him. As long as we live, he too will live, for he is now a part of us as we remember him. When we are weary and in need of strength, when we are lost and sick at heart, when we have joy we crave to share, when we have decisions that are difficult to make, when we have achievements that are based on his, we will remember him. As long as we live, he too will live, for he is now a part of us, all of us, as we remember him. We may not all know one another, although I think we do, yet we all feel connected by our love, respect, and admiration for Rowland, Ba. That's a name, Ba. So first, the matter of the name Ba. I understand that Andrew couldn't quite pronounce either grandfather or grandpa, and he gave him that name, and that it stuck, and it took. And that's how Rowland was called by many in his immediate family. Love is truly the word. To know Rowland was and is to love him because he was lovable. He had a kind word for everyone and was a mensch, a really good, decent, kind person. Therefore, our loss it's very sad, and it's difficult, and it's profound, because in his own lighthearted way, he was such a constant and a positive presence, and he was always there for you. Rowland was always ready to listen, to offer assistance, to show care and concern. Indeed, the greatest joy in life is to be able to say, I still have something to do. I want to accomplish yet more. And so he did. Rowland had such a strong will to live. And he had so much to live for. Till the very end, his mind remained sharp. He retained his incredible memory, and he never lost his sense of humor. And I'm quoting this now, though at times inappropriate. I didn't make that up. Okay. If there is a word, maybe one word to describe Rowland, it would be gentleman. He was a gentleman. He was a gentle man. And that's a wonderful thing to say about any person. Rowland will be forever adored as the patriarch of his family, a man of strength, dignity, integrity. We realize how much he taught us in terms of his selfless giving, caring, and loving. So I believe that Rowland Ba might say to us right now, first of all, thank you for being here. He would be overwhelmed by your presence, as is his family. Thank you for supporting my family and to help to tell my story. He might go on to say, don't mourn for me, for I did not leave a mournful life. I do not want to be remembered for a mournful life, because in the balance, he led a full, fulfilling, purposeful, and good life. Rowland, he was brilliant. And his passion, as you know, was for art and architecture. He was greatly respected in his field. I believe there's some colleagues here today. And his work included, among other things, designing hospitals, medical centers, churches, as well as his family home in Morristown. If truth be known, though, he dreamed of being a golf course architect, although he only played golf one time. And I understand that didn't go so well. In addition to his calling, and it was a true calling, he had many interests. He loved to read, was a history buff, was also drawn to watching nature channels. He enjoyed traveling with you, Lori. He was a wine aficionado and a computer person, like to the extreme. In fact, he built his own computer. I mean, who does that? And he loved playing computer games with Jake. And that really worked out well today because Jake is responsible for fixing the live stream, which was malfunctioning. What a great tribute. Most of all, I know that Rowland loved all of you, his family, and family was the focus and is the focus of Rowland and Lori's life. For one cannot speak of Rowland without also speaking of you, Lorelei, his devoted and loving wife of 52 years. You first met, am I right? No. 62? Oh, okay. Even better. You first met at Camp Hilltop, where Rowland was the waterfront director, and you were a counselor for 5-year-old children, girls. And I asked you about your first impression of Rowland, and you said that he was gorgeous, meaning very handsome. And his impression of you, you were also gorgeous, and he liked your legs. When Rowland attended the University of Pennsylvania, you attended Douglas, then Penn State, then Trenton State, really just to remain close. Yours has been an amazing 62-year love affair. Over your many years, you evolved into a real team, a true partnership, best friends, soulmates. You have been there for one another in the good times, and there were many, and the challenging times, and there have been those as well. I can't even begin to imagine how much you will miss your life's partner. And how Rowland loved you as family, Jana, and David, and Judy, and Stephen, and grandchildren. And I'm going to mention significant others too. There's Andrew and Alex, and Jake, and Ceci, and Hallie, and Mitchell. Your Ba lived for you. You were the light of his life. You would walk in the room and the sun would shine. And I know your father and grandfather are so very proud of you. He's proud of your accomplishments, but he was prouder yet of the bright, sensitive, and caring family that you are. He felt your constant support, care, concern, and love. And Rowland will also be greatly missed and lovingly remembered by his caregivers, Philip and Ifoma, who are here as well. Also family. However, I feel that one can best understand and appreciate a person by the way in which one copes with adversity, setback, disappointment, illness, and loss. 10 years ago, Rowland suffered a major stroke, and he wasn't expected to survive. However, the physicians didn't quite know Rowland's will to live. And he was not ready to give up or to give in. He needed to live for all of you. This past year has been especially difficult. For the most part, he was bedridden. Nevertheless, Rowland never stopped reaching, climbing, hoping, and loving. Rowland died, but he died knowing that he helped to raise, along with Lori, children and grandchildren who in turn have so much to offer others. You did more than raise them. You taught them, guided them, and inspired them. He loved and was loved in turn, and we know that this love has not ended now with his passing. For as long as we live, he too will live. For he is now a part of us as we remember him. And to keep those memories going, I'm going to call on Andrew, Jake, and Mitchell.
Thank you, Eddie. And thank you all for coming today. My name's Mitchell. I'm the youngest grandson. And to say the least, a friend of us. Love isn't about having, it's about enjoying. And while we no longer have Bob, we will forever be able to enjoy the memories and the meaning he has left for us. What I personally will enjoy most are all the lessons that Bob taught both me directly and indirectly. Bob taught me that whatever comes my way shall be sent off better than what it was when it arrived. He taught me to be honest with both myself and others. Bob taught me how to be a gentleman and the meaning of respect for others as well as myself. Bob taught me to stay curious, to learn, and to teach. Bob taught me humor and how to see it in all aspects of life, both appropriate and inappropriate. Bob taught me what a best friend is, and he will forever be one of mine. My grandma had asked me to read a poem for Bob that she had seen a while back. He was my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and my Sunday rest, my noon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. And knowing Bob, I think you'd want to read a poem back to you. And Bob and I had shared many things and bonded over many things, and one of those things towards the end were books. And the last book we had talked about was actually a play called Cyrano de Bergerac. It's a play, and it's about a man who is a leader among the masses, to say the least, and a profound lover of a woman in his life. And I think it was so parallel to Bob and his love for you. And my brother Andrew was in Hawaii. Unfortunately, when he heard the news, and a little sign that Bob was there was a bookstore called Bob's Bookshop. So it got me thinking last night just about all the books we had discussed, and I went through Cyrano and I was reading through some of the annotations that I had made when I first had read it. And in one of the acts, Cyrano was exclaiming his love for the character Roxanne, and I think Bob would do the same to you. He was in the shadows while Roxanne was up on the balcony, and Bob worshipped you in that sense. And I'm going to read you the whole excerpt later, but just one part of this act in the play is as follows. Love seeketh not his own. Dear, you may take my happiness to make you happier. Even though you never know I gave it to you. Only let me hear sometimes, all alone, the distant laughter of your joy.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jake. I am the middle grandson. I hope my Andrew continues this tradition by saying he's the oldest grandson next. I didn't prepare anything today, so it'll be quite short, but I did want to share a couple of stories that I remember of Bob, so you have a picture of who he was to me. So the first thing, and I've told my family this already, is that Ba, we just came back from Southeast Asia in Vietnam. We learned that Ba actually means grandmother. So throughout my entire life, I've been calling my grandparents grandmother and grandmother. Now, Ba is very smart and likes to really dive into cultures from around the world. And I want to believe he actually knew this, but was too nice and too much of a gentleman to tell us that it was wrong. But Ba wasn't the only name we knew him by. As kids, he always liked playing games with us. So one thing he used to do is jumble our names or words around in our name, like an anagram, to figure out what else we would be called. So thanks to my mom, I could remember what Bob was called. His name is Cal Wondersport. And try it out later on pen and paper. If you read Rowland Spector, you will get that. My sister is Barney Schubel, and I am Raj Bachmans. I am the only one with the race change in the name, but lo and behold, I still remember this and will sometimes call myself Raj to Bob. Anyway, the last story I want to kind of tell you about who he is and how he shaped my life and who I am today is how important of a role model he was to me as a kid. So ever since a very young age, he got me into computers. And as you've heard from the rabbi today, it still holds today, and I do like to make my own computers and help out with technical issues. This is because of him. So as a young kid, he would put me on his lap, and we would play games together on the computer, specifically the Neverhood, which is a very old 90s classic game, probably, 20,000 copies made. So very niche, but he loved it, and I loved playing with him. I still play it every couple of years to remember those moments of me sitting on his lap, him guiding us through the problems, and really connecting together through the game. He is one of my first friends, and these are some of my first memories with him. And to say that he has impacted my life would be an understatement. Who I am today, the career I've chosen, the hobbies I take, are mostly because of him. And recognizing that, it makes me happy to see everyone around here and support him, and knowing that he will be loved in everyone's hearts forever. So thank you for coming, and I hope to see you again on better notes. But thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you everyone who's here and who's watching online. For those who don't know me, I'm Andrew, one of Rowland and Morla's 4 grandchildren. 10 years ago, my grandfather suffered a stroke, leaving him partially paralyzed. This limited his mobility, his muscle strength, and almost all physical functions. However, the stroke did not damage his heart, his soul, and his brain. My grandfather was a history whiz. See, my grandfather was a history whiz, a real book of knowledge, and I truly believe he had a photographic memory. And while the stroke may have deterred his ability to move, it did not diminish his ability to think, to know, to learn, and most importantly, to love. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. He was one of the most selfless souls that was ever put on this earth. He never wanted you to ask how he was doing because he wanted to make sure you were happy, you were laughing, you were entertained, and that you were comfortable. That's why if he was here today, he wouldn't want to hear the compliments or relish on his academic achievements and career, but instead be thankful of what everyone brought him. He wanted to say thank you to all his friends who brought him his countless memories, from his fellow Army brothers to his architectural colleagues to his best friends whom he traveled the world with. He wants to say thank you to all his caregivers who have been part of his life for over the last 10 years and have now become family. Not every day was glamorous, but every day was a mystery. He loved each and every one of you and want to thank you for making his time on earth that much more enjoyable. He wants to say thank you to his grandchildren who kept him young and dapper. From the beginning days of running around the house, playing indoor golf, computer games, and blocks, to attending baseball, basketball, and football games, to helping build computers and understand the ins and outs of technology, to being a breath of fresh air over the last 10 years when his body wasn't up for that last bicep curl or that last potential bit of yogurt. He wanted to say thank you for being his support, for giving him a milestone to look forward to, and for always putting a smile on his face whenever he'd hear a story of us, see our faces, or hear our voices. He'd want to say thank you to his two beautiful daughters and their husbands for being the greatest children a father could ask for being young girls to growing up having families that love and care for him. He'd want to say thank you for all the help you have provided him over the last 10 years. It has not been easy for anyone, and from the true bottom of his heart, I know he could not have more appreciation, happiness, and most importantly, love for each of you. And lastly, he'd want to say thank you to his wife, his partner, his soulmate, his best friend, my grandmother, Lorelei. When his life got flipped upside down, so did yours, and you were there every step of the way. The long nights, the emergency room visits, you were there fighting with and for him, pushing boundaries at first that he didn't even think were possible for him to overcome. You brought out the best of him from the moment you married him 62 years ago to the moment he passed. You gave him the strength, you gave him the power, and you gave him all the love he needed to continue to tell the jokes, to continue to tell the historical facts, and most importantly, to continue to finish your sentence because you forgot what, where, when something happened. You may have forgotten, but he always remembered. From the bottom of his heart, I know he says thank you for ultimately being you. There's so much more to say about my grandfather whose life should be celebrated and thought about every day that I cannot fit the words into speech. But I want to finish off by saying thank you to the kid from Camden, New Jersey, who grew up to be a veteran who only went to the Army so that he gave a scholarship to better his education and get an architectural degree from Penn. And then use that degree to build an immaculate career and create a family of truly amazing people. This whole life started with you because you sacrificed so much and suffered so much so that everyone around you could better themselves and their children. the lessons you have taught us, and the knowledge you provided us, and the love you have given us will always be admired and will be carried on forever. For that, I thank you.
I'd like to call on Efoma, who is going to sing a song of faith and inspiration.
I hope I still have space in my vocals to sing. Music was part of what we shared and enjoyed over the years. And Grandpa, like I called you, I just want to bid you farewell with the song. May His peace be with you until we meet again. And may His peace be with you until we meet and never to part again. Till we reach the distant shore, where we shed the tears no more. May He give you strength to endure until we meet and never to part again. May His love be with you until we meet again. And may His love be with you until we meet and never to part again. Till we reach the distant shore, where we share these tears no more. May He give you peace to endure until we meet again. Until we meet and never to part again. Thank you.
As we begin to conclude our service, I would like to include this poem, and I'd like to read it as if Rowland was responding to the words and the music here today. Don't grieve for me, for now I'm free. I'm following the path God laid for me. I took God's hand when I heard God call. I turned my back and I left it all. I could not stay another day. To laugh, to love, to work or play, task left undone must stay that way. I found that place at the close of day. If my parting has left a void, then fill it with remembered joy. A friendship shared, a laugh, a kiss, ah yes, these things I too will miss. Be not burdened with times of sorrow. I wish you the sunshine of tomorrow. My life's been full, I savored much. Good friends, good times, a loved one's touch. Perhaps my time seemed all too brief. Don't lengthen it now with undue grief. Lift up your heart and share with me. God wanted me now. God set me free. Let us all rise. I conclude with the traditional Eloi Rachamim prayer, which includes Rowland's Hebrew name, which is David, which means beloved. Eloi Rachamim, Shochen Ba'romim. Chametzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Hashchina L'Nishmat David Shehalach L'Olamo. Ba'al Rachamim Yitzro B'Yitzro HaChayim Et Nishmato. Adonai Hu Nachalato V'Yanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkavo V'Namar Amen. O God, full of compassion, thou who dwellest on high, grant perfect rest unto the soul of our beloved Rowland Ba, who has departed from this world. Lord of mercy, bring him into your presence, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be thou his possession, and may he rest in peace as he lived his whole life at peace with himself and with others. And we say, Amen. You may be seated. I have been asked to announce that following the service at Locustwood Memorial Park, which begins with a military ceremony, because Rowland was in the United States Army during the Korean War for 3 years. He was stationed in London, so I don't believe the Korean War caught up with him there. But he was proud to serve his country. And then later today, from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock, Shiva will be observed at the Harrison Lounge at the Weston Club at Sagemore. And at that time, you can share your own personal stories and memories with the family. Thank you.
May we have the pallbearers, please? We would ask if you would all rise once more, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll kindly ask if everyone will please take seats for a moment.
Oh.